With her unimpeachable record in the sector, the Chancellor will know that economics is known as the dismal science. And as a member of the Business and Trade Committee, I've spoken directly with businesses one-to-one, and rather than second-hand statistics, the mood is indeed dismal. After her dud budget, can she think again, go back on this desperate jobs tax? The Chancellor is in danger of becoming tough on growth and tough on the causes of...
Rachel Reeves just got politically body-slammed by MPs. One moment she's all confidence, acting like she's got everything under control, and the next it's chaos. MPs are reacting like she just kicked the Queen's corgis. The backlash? Loud. The reactions? Completely over the top. And Reeves? She's just standing there, frozen, like a Wi-Fi router that's suddenly gone offline. So what exactly did she say that's got Parliament foaming at the mouth? Buckle up, because this one's a political train wreck.
Debbie Abrahams.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And I recognise the difficulties that my right honourable friend is facing in terms of fiscal challenges and so on that she inherited. And I also support the reforms that my right honourable friend, the Work and Pension Secretary, has set out. But all the evidence is pointing to the fact that the cuts to health and disability benefits will lead to increased poverty, including severe poverty, and
Before we dive deeper, hit that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming. Rachel Reeves, the woman who somehow grabs more headlines for her bizarre behavior than for any real political accomplishments. Lately, she's landed herself in one of those classic "wait, did I really say that?" moments. One that's got MPs scrambling and wondering if she even remembers who she's supposed to be representing. And in case you've been living under a rock or wisely avoiding the never-ending circus that is UK politics, Rachel Reeves is an MP who, despite trying her best, just can't stop putting her foot in her mouth. But this time, she's really gone too far, crossing a line so glaring that even her most loyal supporters are left shaking their heads.
I was asked a specific question. I did not, first of all, hear the previous interview of the Chief Secretary, and so the question to me was put about pocket money, but it's not a right analogy, and apologies have already been made.
Okay. Rachel Reeves' economic incompetence is mind-blowing.
It's quite a punchy title, but you know, then again, it's true. You know, and the irony is, I mean, that is a lady who has an economics degree, PPE, Politics, Philosophy and Economics from Oxford, and a master's in economics from the London School of Economics. So she must know something about economics. Everything we do should be to maximise the biggest, best possible outcome for as many people as possible.
In a masterclass of tone deafness, Rachel somehow managed to insult, alienate, and completely disrespect the very people she's meant to represent. The British public. You'd think that after years in politics, she'd have mastered the subtle art of keeping quiet when there's nothing worthwhile to say. But nope. Rachel did what she always does best, opened her mouth, let the words tumble out, and then acted shocked when everything blew up. And blow up it did. Her little oops moment didn't just ruffle feathers. It sent shockwaves through Parliament and across the internet. MPs? Yeah. They weren't having any of it.
The Chief Secretary to the Treasury has apologised for the clumsy language that he used.
Let's break this down a bit. Why did Rachel Reeves land herself in the middle of a political mess? It wasn't some minor slip-up. No, Rachel, in her great political wisdom, seemed to take a lesson from how to win friends and influence people, just without the part about actually being decent to people. And the cherry on top? The way she chose to talk about British citizens and their behavior, dismissive, patronizing, and perfectly polished in its contempt. She didn't just distance herself from the working class. She outright threw them under the bus, ran them over, and reversed for good measure.
So you're making an apology too for the comments that you made on the other...
I don't think I made the same comments, but the analogy of comparing pocket money and personal independence payments is clearly not right.
Okay.
To understand just how bad this was, picture someone completely detached from the realities of everyday life. Someone so out of touch, it practically radiates off them. Rachel Reeves managed to capture that level of disconnect in a single sentence. In just one line, she pulled off the impossible, undermining the very backbone of the UK. You'd expect someone in her position to grasp the weight of their words. You'd think an experienced MP would know better than to brush off the public's real concerns. But no, Rachel seemed more interested in sounding clever than in actually caring about what ordinary people go through. The irony? So thick you could slice it clean.
And then you became Chancellor on the 5th of July, and the budget came out at the end of October. And I was very struck by the difference between the report that the Office for Budget Responsibility put out last October and the one that was published last week with your spring statement. In those 5 months, their forecast for inflation this year has gone from 2.6% to 3.2%. Obviously, you highlighted the fact that their growth forecast has halved from 2% to 1%.
What do you make of Reeves' "there is no alternative" line?
I don't think it's a clever thing to say. I think if you've got Margaret Thatcher's chops and authority, and if the public buy into the idea that you're the person or the woman to sort it out, which enough of them did when she was using the phrase, then it might be a winner. But I don't think Rachel Reeves is the kind of politician who can carry that off. It sounds lofty and arrogant. And I think people feel that about this government anyway, because it's like that way. It's like that in its general disposition.
Let's break this disaster down. Rachel didn't just ruffle feathers. She lit a bonfire in Parliament. It started with what seemed like a casual comment. But when a politician says something wildly out of touch, it's never casual. Rachel, feeling too comfortable, complained about how hard it is for politicians when the public doesn't support their brilliant plans. Cue the eye roll. Then came the kicker. She dismissed British citizens, the very people paying taxes and struggling, as part of the problem. Public frustration wasn't about failed leadership. It was because people didn't understand. Right. Not poverty or broken services. Just clueless citizens. And this while energy bills are up and household costs are spiraling. Instead of owning it, she bragged about IMF support, like that fixes anything for families. She didn't fumble her words. She dismissed people's lived experiences with full confidence. A masterclass in losing public trust in seconds. She didn't just upset voters, she united MPs against her. Social media exploded. Hashtags demanding her resignation trended. Even her defenders were stunned. When the chance came to apologize, she doubled down. No remorse, just spin. MPs lined up to tear into her. It wasn't debate, it was political demolition, and Rachel was in the middle. Satirical shows roasted her. She became a meme, the poster child for political arrogance. When pressed, she deflected. She talked about tax tweaks and the NHS, but ignored the real issue, her disrespect for the working class. The same people doing the hard jobs, holding the country together, reduced to background noise in her big speech. She had outs. She could have walked it back or faked empathy. But she kept charging forward, blind to the fallout. By the time her PR team stepped in, the damage was irreversible. More MPs piled on, calling her unqualified, dishonest, demanding her resignation. When MPs agree on something, that says a lot. This wasn't just a bad moment, it was a collapse. Rachel watched her credibility vanish. And this won't be forgotten. Not by voters, not online, and certainly not in Westminster. Because every time someone asks, where did it all go wrong? They'll point to that one arrogant, tone-deaf moment that ended it all. And if she tries to frame it as a learning experience, let's be clear, she wasn't leading change. She was marching herself off a cliff.